Hey everybody, this is Michael Lepond from Symphony X and Michael Lepond's Silent Assassins, and you're listening to PauleraCast.
Mike, thanks very much again for talking to us here. Who's Mike Lepond, and what else beyond Symphony X that you're up to now?
Sure. Yes, I mean, most people know me as the bass player from Symphony X, and that's how I guess I became famous in the heavy metal world. But I do a lot of other things too when the band is not on the road or the band is not recording. I like to keep busy. So one of the things I have for any of your fans who don't know, I have a solo project actually. And I've had this project since 2014, and it's called Mike Lepond's Silent Assassins. And it's basically, I'm on my third album now, and it's basically classic heavy metal, power metal, different than Symphony X, which is cool because it keeps me thinking of different things, and it brings me back to my roots. And then I also do, many other recordings for other bands. I'm also the bass player for Ross the Boss, who is one of the co-founders of Man of War. So I do that on a regular basis, and I think we've played Ireland with Ross. I'm not 100% sure, but and we definitely played with Symphony X, and I do many other small projects that maybe your fans may or not know. So I keep very, very busy, and I'm always doing some sort of recording. Everything I do, it keeps me learning, keeps me fresh, and I love doing it.
For the Michael Lepond's Silent Assassins, you're also singing and playing the guitar, not only the bass, right?
I play rhythm guitar, so I learned just enough guitar in order to write songs. I'm really not a good lead guitar player, so I hire other people to do that, but I record all the rhythm guitar parts, and I hire the singer and the lead guitar player and whoever else I have to hire. But I try to do as much as I can, so I don't have to waste time teaching people all the songs.
Did you have the chance to tour with your band or not yet?
I live in New Jersey, which is right by New York City. So in 2018, I wanted to finally see what it was like to play with the band, and we set up a show at the local venue over here called Dingbats, and it was a lot of fun. We packed the place, and it was a good way to see what could happen if we do tour. So when things open up again, I would definitely like the band to maybe get on a tour with a bigger band and start getting out there. And it would be good when Symphony X is off the road. I could jump onto that and back and forth.
And I was quite interested to know that you played recently for two other bands. I think was Dead Reason and Everdawn.
Yes, actually, yeah. Everdawn is a female-fronted symphonic metal band, which is something I always wanted to try, to get into. I try to get into all these kinds of heavy metal, and so I could learn about it and stay fresh. So it's a really, really cool band. The band's on their second album right now. They just released a new album called Cleopatra. Really, really cool symphonic stuff if you're into that. Dead Risen is another band with guys from the New Jersey area, and actually has some members who played with Everdawn. And this is a band that's more about like live kind of jamming. It's a band where there's it's very musical. It's kind of like a combination. If you took old rainbow with, the Ronnie James Dio era rainbow, and you mixed it with maybe like Testament. So it's heavy, but it's got that classic hard rock metal kind of feel to it. And there's a lot of jamming going on, which unfortunately a lot of bands don't do that these days. They have their parts and it's so structured, but we have, in our songs, we have songs where you just kind of jam and you just kind of close your eyes and just play, and who cares if someone's a little sloppy, you just play like the old days. So yeah, I did a lot in 2020. I had the Dead Risen. I had a new Ross the Boss. I had a new Silent Assassins record.
Burning Witches as well. Did you play with?
I didn't play with Burning Witches, but they wanted to do a cover of a Manowar song, and they wanted to do battle hymns, but I guess their bass player didn't have the 8-string bass. So I played the intro, the Joey DeMeo intro. So that was cool. Just recently, an album was released, a band called Death Dealer that I played on. And this has Sean Peck on vocals from Cage. And it also has Ross the Boss in the band. And so that's like a power metal band also as well. So I've been keeping busy. During this time when there's no gigs, a lot of bands are probably, unfortunately, maybe have to quit because there's no more money. It was bad enough that we got hit with, streaming. The streaming companies pay us nothing, and now we get hit with a situation where you can't even tour. So a lot of the bands are getting hit really hard. So I think the best thing to do is just to stay positive. Use this time to write songs, plan things that you want to do in the future, and try to stay positive as much as possible.
Before SymphonyX, what happened in your musical career? Where did you start?
Right, that's a great question. I joined SymphonyX, I guess, at a later age than most of the rock stars. I joined SymphonyX when I was 33. I used to hang out at this rock club, and there was this guy there who was like the drunk that used to come, every week. But for some reason, he knew the guys in SymphonyX, and he hooked me up with them. And then just basically from there, I went from playing to, the bartender and his girlfriend to playing. And my first gig was actually in the year 2000 in Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
It was, and
amazing.
that was the perfect audience to play for, because they're so, they go so crazy. And so it was like literally a dream come true. You play to nobody, and then you play to these screaming fans chase you down the street. So it was a great story. But I worked hard for it. I joined my first band in 1982 when I was 16 years old, and I really worked hard all that time, and I never gave up.
And just to let you know, myself and my friend Eric from the podcast, we were two of the voices there, two of the public voices there on that day, the São Paulo gig that you guys played.
Wow, that's amazing.
Good memories. That's really good memories. I remember the venue. It was fun. This is a funny story, because the venue that you guys played, if I can remember well, was called something like Companhia do Pagode or something alike. Companhia do Pagode was like a very traditional pagode house or pagode venue in the day. And pagode is kind of a mixture of samba. And it's funny because if you tell this to people, like to metalheads in Brazil, lots of metalheads, unfortunately, I think they have this prejudice against samba music because it's not metal, And then the house that you guys played, the SymphonyX, was pretty much like a samba house, wasn't a heavy metal house.
So they were forced to go there.
Symphony X was one of my favorite bands, and then when I saw you guys on stage, my mind just blew up. That was a big concert.
Yeah, I'll never forget I'll never forget those days. It was just amazing.
And you had the opportunity to return to Brazil to play several tours, like at least 7 or 8 tours in Brazil.
Yeah, after that gig in the year 2000, the next time we returned, we came in 2007 and then 2008. I was blown away because when we got to the venue, there were 3,000 people there.
Yes.
And we never drew a crowd that big in our lives, for just a Symphony X show. So we were so excited, and those gigs were just fantastic. That was incredible. I couldn't believe how many people were there, and it was just an amazing experience. Now we're supposed to go back in August if they open up, so we'll see.
Yeah. So you're saying that there's going to be a follow-up tour then after pandemic with SymphonyX?
Yeah, we have a tour planned for South America for the first week of August. So we're just waiting to hear from the promoters down there and, the booking agents down there to see if they are going to have it, or do we need to postpone it.
Right. So you're still in touch then with Michael Romeo, Rachel Allen, I suppose, and the band?
Yes, we're all still in touch. I talk to Michael Romeo every day. And so, yeah, we're just waiting around. And as soon as we get the green light, we'll start playing again.
Yeah, now that you mentioned, I remember interviewing Rachel Allen, and I managed to talk to him over the phone. And I spoke to his agent before talking to him. That was that week before the huge accident they had I think it was in Florida.
Yeah, it was a very traumatic event, obviously, for him. And we basically had to give him like a whole year, get his mind together and his emotions, because he didn't know if he wanted to even play anymore, so we had to just give him time. But he came back around, and he feels good about playing, and we've toured with him since then.
I was talking to him over the phone, and he was so excited about like his projects with Adrenaline Mob and the other bands as well, and SymphonyX. And then a week after I heard the news about the accident, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's shocking. But
yeah,
glad to know he's good now.
Yeah. Right now he's doing okay, and so we're just all kind of in touch and just waiting around.
No, look, thanks very much, Mike, for this conversation with us today. It was great to be able to see you again, now for the third time.
That's good. Yeah, well, the next time I'm in Ireland playing with someone, I'll let you know, and we'll get together and meet up.
More than welcome here. So yeah, do let me know.
Thank you. Thank
Awesome.
you, man.